The Nintendo Switch 2 is finally here! As of a few weeks ago. Video editing takes a while. Subscribe! I've been having a lot of fun with the Nintendo Switch 2 so far. I immediately started testing it to see how well it worked, comparing both the docks and finding out that you can't use both versions in each other's docks, but you can mix old and new Joy-Cons into one controller, so that's cool. And with the launch of the online GameCube application, I also went to testing on how well the Tingle Tuner worked. It didn't. But that video quickly became my most popular video and brought in a lot of subscribers. Thank you all so much. I love you all. Fix this, Nintendo. Within the same time frame as that video, the Nintendo Switch 2 also became not just Nintendo's fastest selling console, but the fastest selling video game console ever. Take that, haters. But we're not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about Mario Kart. Again.
Mario Kart World is the first time Nintendo released a Mario Kart game with the launch of a new system. Something they've been wanting to do since Mario Kart 64. World was initially in development for the first Nintendo Switch, starting back when that console first launched in 2017. But they realized the system wasn't able to handle what they had planned, so we got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and its Booster Course Pass DLC in the meantime. And now Mario Kart World finally released with the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2 on June 5th, 2025. And I am loving it. I'm glad they took their time developing this game. You can tell a lot of love went into it. Compared to previous entries in the series, there's a lot that's the same, but also a lot that's different. If you're familiar with the series, you'll have an easy time jumping into Mario Kart World. The controls and gameplay all feel relatively the same, though I have noticed some significant changes when it comes to how the vehicles handle. Drifting definitely feels different. When you start the initial drift, you have this sharp slide that has thrown off my turns more than a few times. Trying to ride out a drift along a turn feels a little more challenging here. Previous games have been a mix of either very slidey or very tight drifting mechanics, so this feels like something in the middle. When it comes to items, there's a few new ones, but it's nothing too crazy. We have a coin shell that makes a line of coins on the track, along with a Kamek orb and dash food items, which I'll go into more depth on later. But there's also a change on how you hold your items, particularly your bananas and shells. In previous games, you have to hold the item button to keep the item behind you. Here, draggable items are always behind your cart, and a button press will fire it immediately. It's a pretty drastic change for series veterans. It's still throwing me off, and there's no option to change it back. But I don't view this as a bad thing. Not having to always hold the trigger button down for long periods of time is probably better for my controller's health. I also noticed a difference in how fast the game overall is. Mario Kart World feels kind of slow, honestly. There's no 200 engine class in World, but even the 150 class feels a little sluggish. A friend came over earlier and I showed him the game, and his first impression was, wow, this is slow. I was curious to see how Mario Kart World is compared to previous games, so I did a run on Choco Mountain in 64, 8 Deluxe, and World. And sure enough, World was behind the others by the 30-second mark by a bit. On the flip side of things, racers do recover faster if they get hit, but that also means CPU racers also recover faster. As for the major changes to the Mario Kart formula, a big selling point is the 24-player races. Previous entries had either 8 or 12 racers, so Mario Kart World doubles that count, and it's insane. There's a lot of chaos immediately when you start a race, but this also means you have more racers to contend with when you're either in the lead or falling behind. Gliding and diving mechanics that have been around since Mario Kart 7 have also been changed. Instead of gliding, your kart will sprout wings and you can fly around like a small airplane, which is a lot of fun. Diving is now instead more like jet skiing, where you're driving on top of the water and can do tricks off the waves. This does mean there's no underwater scenery in courses anymore, but that's totally fine. You can also pull a Tony Hawk and drive on walls and rail grind if you can jump onto them. I honestly have a hard time with wall riding, but I'm practicing, I'll get it. Eventually. The Grand Prix mode is mostly the same. You have 4 races to race on and you get a trophy at the end of it all, but it's how these races connect that really shake things up. Instead of winning one race and then moving on to the next, you have to actually drive to your next destination. At first, this sounds like a lot of fun, but then you realize it kind of isn't. I was very excited for this aspect of the game at first, but in execution, it's kind of lackluster. The game still has to load a whole new track after finishing the previous one, so it's not a seamless transition or anything. And these roads can be very long, so they're broken up into segments like how Mario Kart 7 and 8 did for a few races. But these segments impact how long you can race on the actual track itself, as by the time you get there, you only really go around it once. It's overall just a long drive down a highway, and as someone who spent a lot of time doing that already in real life, I kind of just want to get to my destination as soon as possible. The highway is a race itself, but it doesn't feel as grand as it could be, especially with the slower game speed. These highway connections can be turned off in versus races, but there's no option for that in Grand Prix. Additionally, the trophy collection is also different. In previous games, you would have to race each engine class for each Grand Prix to get the associated trophy. In Mario Kart World, clearing a cup in one engine class gives you the trophies for the classes below it. I did my Grand Prix all in 150 engine class, which means 50 and 100 also got trophies, which is perfectly fine by me, I don't really feel like driving down highways at 15 miles per hour. Knockout Tour is my favorite mode in the game. It reminds me of F-Zero, where you have to be in a certain top placement in order to be able to move on. If you're not within the specified rank, you are eliminated. This is a very chaotic mode where you race from one location to the next in a cross-country format, and it's what I felt like Grand Prix was going to be. It's all seamless, racers are constantly dropping out, it's brutal, it's challenging, it's fun, and I hate it. This game has the odds of actually winning any of these modes stacked against you. Computer players can pass you very easily, yet it's difficult for you to do so. Anytime a computer player passes me, it feels like there's just no way to catch up. A combination of slow driving speed, long stretches of road with no dash panels or space to build up drift boosts, and item boxes that are spaced too far away from each other makes getting and keeping first place one of the most challenging things to do in this particular Mario Kart. I am not bad at the game. I've been playing Mario Kart since 1998, and this is the most difficult group of computer players I've ever faced in the series. They are always faster, determined to leave you in the dust, mushrooms and other boost items are barely useful, and getting the items I need to attack is rare. I really do like Knockout Tour, but it is infuriating at times. Luckily, there is a place to de-stress from it all. Free roam is the biggest selling point in Mario Kart World. The game takes place on a large, world. All the races in the game are in this vast environment. They're all spaced pretty far apart, which is why the highway races are so long, but in free roam it's just fun to explore. I'm not a big fan of open world games. I had a hard time enjoying Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild because it all just felt so empty and tiring at times, and I don't have any interest in games like Dark Souls or whatever. On the flip side, I really like Xenoblade Chronicles X's open world, because there's always something going on around me, and sprinting across it like a marathon runner or flying a Skell around is just a great time. Mario Kart World is somewhere in the middle. It's a lot of vast, empty spaces, but you're in a go-kart. It's fun to just drive around, exploring new locations, seeking out new life forms, to boldly go where no kart has gone before. Of course, it's not all just empty spaces. There are things to do here. You can find various P-switches which will give you missions to complete. These missions can range from incredibly easy to incredibly difficult, and if you clear them, you get a sticker. You can also find question mark panels lying around, and driving over them will give you a sticker. These stickers are used to decorate your carts, but they don't even show up on half of the vehicles. The rewards for these are pretty underwhelming, especially after just completing a difficult mission or reaching a hard-to-get question mark panel. There are various coins scattered around, and you can find many Peach medallions, which also gives you a sticker. But you can drive an 18-wheeler. Oh yeah! Despite the rather disappointing reason to explore, actually doing so is just a good time. It's fun to drive your cart in places it normally wouldn't go, and even just relaxing in a spot and viewing the sights is nice. Overall, I'll give the gameplay of Mario Kart World a 15 out of 20. The game feels a little too slow for a kart racer, and Grand Prix isn't as fun as it could have been, but the brutal Knockout Tour and relaxing free roam are great, even if the world itself can feel empty at times. After coming off of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Tour, the number of racetracks in Mario Kart World can feel pretty underwhelming. There are a total of 30 courses in the game, split between 8 Grand Prix and Knockout Cups. That's less than even Mario Kart DS through Mario Kart 8, but these courses all have several variants depending on what order they're raced in, and if you go through them in free roam. Returning courses like Wario Stadium and Peach Beach even got completely different layouts. Some of them, like Choco Mountain, feel like some kind of industrialized recreation of the track, and I love that. The new tracks are also pretty good. Crown City is an impressive cityscape, Boo Cinema has you fly directly into the film, and Starview Peak takes inspiration from the Comet Observatory as examples. I'm not gonna spoil it for those who haven't seen it yet, but this game also might just have my new favorite Rainbow Road. That all said, there are definitely some missed opportunities when it comes to what returning tracks were chosen. Moonview Highway and Mushroom City would have fit perfectly in a world filled with roads, and Yoshi's Valley would have been a fun place to explore without the constraints of a race. But oh well, it is what it is. In Grand Prix and Knockout Tour, you're not going to race around most of these for very long, but you're free to explore them in Versus and Free Roam. Though there isn't a lot here, what is here is impressive and fun to race around in, so I'll give the tracks a 17 out of 20. When you first start Mario Kart World, there's a good selection of characters to choose from, and more can be unlocked by completing Grand Prix. Many of the characters also have costumes like in Mario Kart Tour, which are unlocked by grabbing the Dash Food item. There are also various enemy and NPC characters from across the series that become racers for the first time, such as a Sidestepper, a Penguin, a Snowman, and my personal favorite, the Pianta. These types of characters aren't unlocked through normal means. Instead, the Kamek Orb item will transform you into a character, which will then unlock it for you if you didn't have it already. However, Kamek is completely random, as you can't be the one to use the item just to be affected by it, which means it can take a while to fill your roster of both costumes and side characters. There are 50 characters in total, which is more than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe even with its DLC. but there are some notable omissions. Diddy Kong is once again scrubbed from the roster, none of the Koopalings return, Metal Mario didn't return in any format, and there are no Mii racers. And love them or hate them, there are no non-Mario characters like Link or Inkling either. We did get Rob back though. He's a bite. This is not what I meant when I said I wanted Nintendo to bring him back. Vehicles are no longer in pieces anymore, they're more like how they were in Double Dash 3 with a menu to choose from. They're all ready to drive, which makes things simple to process with the statistics. But that means no more Monster Truck Sneaker. Coins are the main method of unlocking these carts again, which is sad. Those missions in free roam would have been a great place to put the unlockable carts. No one likes the coins. The coin item is a terrible item to get when you need to defend yourself from those red shells, but hey, ATV's return, so that's cool. It's a solid collection of characters, and it looks like there's a lot with a scrolling menu, though most of it is padded by costumes. I don't know if we'll get more characters and tracks through downloadable content, but if that does happen, it better be free. This game cost $80. I'm not spending more on it just to get Peachette back in the game. I'll give the character roster a 15 out of 20. It's good, but the focus on costumes and NPC racers, while fun and hilarious, feels like it limited more fan-favorite characters from returning, and there's not even as grand a scale of costumes as there were in Mario Kart Tour. The sound design in Mario Kart World is absolutely incredible. Apparently they recreated over 200 songs from across the Mario series. That's not just Mario Kart, we got songs from Super Mario 64, Mario Paint, even WarioWare and Yoshi's Island. These songs all vary in tone, with the more energetic themes playing when you're on an actual racetrack, and the more chill, calming music plays when you're driving down the roads. The music when free roaming is all randomly shuffled, so you could get a Bowser song while in Moo Moo Meadows, for example. The voices from all the characters are all completely new. I especially like how they wave and say hello whenever you honk the horn. But they didn't tell longtime Peach voice actress Samantha Kelley that she was getting replaced in this game? That's a bit scummy, but it makes sense Peach would get a new voice after the Marios and Daisy did. I love the music in this game, and it's great vibes when you're listening to it in free roam. That's a solid 20 out of 20, I need this OST for myself soon. Visually, Mario Kart World has the same graphical art style as Super Mario Bros. Wonder. That game was also a visual delight, so I'm glad to see it carry over into other games. The way the characters look remind me of Nintendo 64 promotional artwork. It's great, I love it. The world itself is beautifully detailed, with all the environments just going all out on their thematic art style. It's all bright and colorful. Mario Kart Double Dash has had the most amount of character animations in the series in my opinion, but now Mario Kart World might just top that. The characters are very expressive, they wave at you, there's many poses with their tricks, you can have some fun with photo mode, they all just look like they're having fun. The visuals mixed with the soundtrack just create an air of relaxation when you're in free roam, and it gets intense during the actual races. I love how this game looks, it's another 20 out of 20.
So that's 15 points for gameplay, 17 points for tracks, 15 points for characters, and 20 points for both sound and graphics. Overall, it comes out to 87 out of 100 points. Comparing that to my previous video of ranking every other Mario Kart, that puts it between Mario Kart 7 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I would have liked to see Grand Prix handled better, maybe a way to turn off the road so we can just get right to the races and leaving the highways for Knockout Tour. Would have also liked to see the missions handled better in free roam where it was a much better reward, and the speed of the game increased even just a little bit so it doesn't feel like I'm driving at a snail's pace. But overall, I am enjoying my time with Mario Kart World and I'm having a lot of fun with it. The free roam and Knockout Tour are definitely my favorite modes of the game. I hope you are all enjoying your time with Mario Kart World and the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm looking forward to seeing you all online where you guys can all kick my butt as a cow. As far as my hopes for the Nintendo Switch 2, I'm really looking forward to the future of this system. I'm really hoping for a Fire Emblem Awakening HD or Kid Icarus Uprising HD. I really love those two games, I don't have them anymore, so it'd be cool to see them again in a whole new light. I would also love to see a remake of Dragon Quest IX with new connection features and maybe the tag mode being better. As far as new games, I am expecting a new 3D Mario, maybe a new 2D one as well. A more traditional Legend of Zelda in line with the older titles would also be really cool. I'd love to see another title like Twilight Princess where it's more focused on the story and progression than it is just a vast empty world with barely anything in it. Let me all know what you think about Mario Kart World and what your hope for the Nintendo Switch 2's future in the comments below. The Mario image of this thumbnail was drawn by my brother. You should definitely go check out his books and his YouTube channel. Both are linked in the description below. Until next time, my name is Alex. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you around.